it's the crying thing's very, it's very true as well. And the times that I've, the way you described that when you finally break down and cry. The last time I cried was when I got my I basically got a phone call saying I probably had cancer, but my son was laughing. I was on my own, but my son was. I could hear him laughing in the next room. He was 2 years old, and all I just thought was, "Oh fuck, my son's. I'm never. I'm not going to see my son grow up." And it was like that down. It's like that primitive sort of downpour where you couldn't control it. And you talk about that in the book, about that's when the ugliness of it, that when a man cries, maybe because there's a lot of pent up crying that you haven't done, but it really fucking comes out like a torrent, like an uncontrollable force, rather than something just clear the ducts.
My mum, I remember when she cried, she could sort of continue to fold clothes. Like she had this ability, which is a healthier thing, little and often, right? Which is a healthier way of doing it. But one of the points of the book is about just accepting there's obviously things that have been persistent about the male psyche for a while. So you go, right, that is, it seems to be how it is. There is something, little boys cry loads, by the way. That's one point that I make, is that there is a strange flip where certainly this generation of little boys, it's crying all the time, and girls seem like way more resilient. But I don't know if there's just a point where you just go, right, okay, need to suck up some shit for a while. I don't know if it coincides with like your first mortgage, or I don't know when it happens, but and then it sort of gets squirreled away. So it's going, all right, I'm always a pragmatist. Like, what's realistic? Is it realistic to suddenly say cry regularly in front of your wife? Probably for a lot of blokes, especially working class blokes, maybe not. Certainly men around my generation, but to not cry at all, that is unhealthy. So it's just the fact that I'm just on stage or in the book just saying, that I cry. Hopefully there's a message in there, even if I'm taking the piss and caveating it very sort of healthily.
I think as well, if you do it, heavily. If a man does it too much in front of his wife, it loses the power. It's a very powerful thing to do in front of your wife. If you're losing an argument and and everything's gone wrong and you fall apart and you start crying, that's when you win the argument, because your wife then goes, "Oh my God, I'm so," and you actually.
But meanwhile she's thinking we probably need to get a bigger dog for the house. and but I think you're absolutely right. Like scarcity and value, I think there's a premium on male crying because of the scarcity. So a good example is Novak Djokovic, right? Loses at Wimbledon. And he talked this beautiful moment where he just mentioned that his son was there, and he broke. And I thought, well, there he is, an elite athlete who's earned that moment. But I did think, like, if he'd done that after losing in the semi-final, like the would have gone, okay, mate, maybe don't play tennis.